This is the outside of the Auto-Sleeper Fairford Plus. As we move along, we will firstly come to the gas tank fill point. Just push in and twist, and out pops the dust cap. Our UK fillers just literally slide over the top here. It's then just a matter of sliding a lever across and then pulling it towards you to lock it onto the side of the van, and then holding the button down to fill the gas tank. This bezel part here is to take the Continental adapters. To view how much gas is in the tank, just come to this gauge here. You can only view it when the engine is running. Mains hook up just here. Just remember to push down on the blue lever just there when removing. You have a sticker here which lets you know where the emergency gas shut-off is. It's actually easier to get to from the other side because you don't have the exhaust pipe in the way, so I will show you when we get round to that part. Fresh water into the van just here, so we can either use, by sliding this part up here, the whale filler. You'll see we have a collapsible hose here. It just has a hose lock attachment on one end, and then on the other you have the whale plug, which you just plug in like so, and then slide down to lock it into place. Then make sure the 12 volt is on the inside of the van, turn the water on, and it will then start filling the water tank up. If you're on a fully serviced pitch, you can literally leave this with the water turned on, and as you use it, it will constantly replenish the tank. To remove, slide back up again, push in on the two blue buttons, and then pull towards you. Beside that, we have the hose pipe fill for the freshwater tank, so just push in, pop in your hose pipe to fill up the freshwater tank. This cap can be locked. We then have external TV point and satellite point just there, and a 12 volt plug-in point as well. Freshwater tank drain just there, and the grey water tank drain just there. And above it you will find the cassette. So to remove the toilet cassette, lift up on the blue lever and pull towards you. Before use, remove the cap and add your toilet chemical with a small amount of water. This is also where it empties from. Just remember that when you are pouring it away, to hold the button in here to release the vacuum that's inside. It's also advisable to keep this seal lubricated. Fairford do their own seal lubricant, but any silicone based lubricant is fine. This is also a nice quick and easy way of giving the cassette a good clean. If you need to gain access to the float due to the fact you might have some debris wrapped around it or anything, so it's giving you a false reading, just turn this section here and remove. These are now all on wheels with extendable handles. At the rear we have the flue for the heating and the flue for the boiler. You don't need to do anything with these, just make sure that nothing is obstructing them. The spare wheel just sits here, and to get it to drop, there's a bar in the jack and wheel brace kit, and it just locates where my finger is. You then attach the wheel brace to it and wind it down. There is also an air line that runs directly to that spare wheel, so you can check whether or not the air pressure is correct just here and top it up without any need for dropping the spare wheel. As we now come round to the back, we have a two-lay bike rack. Pull to drop down like so. These slide up and down the rails depending on the size of the bikes, and then these straps through the wheels, and then attach these arms to the frames. Rear view camera up there and awning light. We can gain access to the back of the van through the rear doors. These doors can be fully folded back by pressing these buttons just here. Do not do it on this door on this side, or otherwise as the door folds back, the bike rack will damage the actual van itself. External shower hose just here. So if we grab it, pop it in and then turn it on, as long as the water pump is then on, it will then go under pressure. You can see on this one that it's mixable between hot and cold. To remove, just twist, pull towards you. As we come round the other side, we have the external barbecue point. So you'll see we actually have the barbecue adapter just here. So you attach the hose of the barbecue to this section here and secure it with a Jubilee clip. This end here will then plug in to this point and then allow you to turn the gas on. To release it, just push the collar up and it will then pop back out again. We then have the vents for the fridge. This is a fully winterized van, so you are supplied with winter covers. You'll see I've got this one here which would snap onto this lower vent. I've already popped the top one on. So in the colder climate, just make sure these are on, and then the fridge will basically vent from this lower point here and just up here, thus holding some heat in. In the warmer months, do make sure that they are removed, or otherwise the fridge will just overheat. When popping them on, always start at the bottom, just hook it and then push and it will clip into place. If we now go back underneath the van, you'll see the gas tank just here. So if you did need to shut the gas off, you need to remove this plate. You pull this lever just here where my finger is, and then there's a brass knob beneath this. Just turn it to isolate. The regulator is just here. These are crash regulators, so if there is a problem, they will cut the gas off automatically. They can sometimes be triggered if you go over a bump extremely violently. What will happen is this little yellow button will pop out, and all you need to do is just push it back in to reset it. This particular van is fitted with two lay wind out canopies. So we have this large one on the side, and then we have the shorter one on the back. To wind them out, we need the awning winding handle. And to wind them out, we just pop into here and then begin to wind. As you can now see, I've wound it out a short distance. It's always best to do this first and then take the weight off it by then dropping the legs. The legs themselves are sprung loaded, so just push in and then slide it towards you and it will then drop out. Drop the leg, achieve the height that you want it at, and then just pull the grey lever up to lock it into place, and then do exactly the same again with the other leg. Once the awning is out a certain distance, these support struts can then be unclipped, and then they literally clip into these sections just here. If we now move to the rear, I can then wind the back one out in exactly the same manner. As you can now see, I have wound it out, and due to its size it does not require any legs. If we now come back to the front of the van, we have diesel fill just here, cup unlocks on the ignition key, and then we have AdBlue top up just here. It will let you know on the dashboard when your AdBlue needs refilling. Tyre pressures just on the door pillar just here, and then we have your Alco Air top up suspension gauges just here. Anywhere in the green is fine. Top them up and let them down on the valves just here. The airbags look like this. Jack and wheel brace all underneath the passenger seat in its own box. Vehicle battery underneath the floor of the cab. And then we have bonnet release just here.